Hello everyone, my name is Mirna, and on behalf of the Mindalia TV team, welcome to Mindalia live streaming, where thousands of people around the world gather daily to see the lectures and interviews organized by Mindalia TV. Today with us, Sten Sorensen. He is the president and founder of the Healing Exchange Center. He's going to be discussing about healing and other meditation techniques with Lluvia Ramya, right?
Right.
She has been a meditation teacher and a yoga teacher for more than 18 years. But before starting with them, we want to remind you that Mindalia's mission is to share information that can help raise the level of consciousness around the world, and you can help us by subscribing to our channel, leaving us a positive comment on this video, or sharing it with someone that you know that is going to benefit of the content that we're going to be talking here today. Also, while we are live streaming, we have the active chat, the screen that you're going to be seeing here on my side or under this video if you're seeing us from a smartphone, and through there you can enter your questions. We also want you to collaborate with Mindalia with your own valuable content, and for that, you can go to our website. On the top, you're going to find a link that says Collaborate with Mindalia. That link is going to take you to a form that you can fill out, and our technical team will be getting in contact with you. You can collaborate with Mindalia in English through Mindalia TV English, as you already know, but you can also do it in Portuguese through Mindalia Televisao and in Spanish through Mindalia Televisión. Visit our different platforms, our different Instagram accounts, Facebook pages, and through there you can not only help us reach as much people as possible in the planet, but you also keep yourself updated with the wonderful information that is being shared there on a daily basis. Information as beautiful and as interesting as the one that you are already used to see in Mindalia TV. I'm not going to be delaying this any further, and I am going to be leaving you with Stan and with Ramya. Guys, welcome to Mindalia live streaming. The screen is yours.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mirna, for that introduction. And I'm really excited and a little bit surprised because I'm usually here with Angel, our co-host or our main host, and he wasn't able to make it today. But I'm so happy that we can go ahead and have our interview with Ramya, who, I know a little tiny bit about Ramya that intrigues me. Ramya told me that that she had gone to India at age 18. Is that correct?
That's correct.
At age 18. I remember when I was 18 years old, I was kind of like just launching out into the world, very ignorant. I didn't know what I was going to do. I remember I went and spent some days at an island off of California coast, kind of was homeless, And I am curious, at age 18, what led you to travel to India by yourself?
Well, I began practicing yoga when I was 14, and I had a meditation teacher, and I used to long, I had this longing to be more in contact with the roots of yoga. So when I was 18, I finished school, and I thought this is the good time to take just 1 year and practice yoga in depth and practice meditation, like completely absorbed in that. So I went to India to live in an ashram. And then I discovered so many things, and my passion for yoga just grew up, and my love for India as well, my love for Indian people and Indian culture. I just fell in love with that. Yeah. And I stayed there for a year, then came back to Mexico. And when I was in Mexico, I used to cry. I was missing so much India that I could not stay here for more than 3 months, and I was back in India. And since then, I've been going every year, at least for one time a year. If I can, I like to go more times. Yeah.
Wow. That is a fascinating story. I'm impressed. You said you started studying yoga at age 14.
Yes.
How did you get involved at age 14 with study of yoga?
It's very interesting because I grew up in atheist family, and but I was very spiritual when I was a little girl. Like, we didn't used to practice any spiritual thing, but I was always like looking for light and for nature, and I used to buy books to read about meditation and stuff like this, but by myself. So when I was 14 years old, my father met a meditation teacher, and he told me, you're gonna love this. I know you're gonna love this. So I began going to this meditation center every weekend, and I used to just love meditating and love practicing yoga, and I used to put this together with school. Like at school, I used to be very concentrated because of meditation. I found out that meditation helped me a lot with my school. So when I was 18, I decided to just do it.
To go deeper into understanding and developing your connection
Yes,
through yoga and meditation. That
yes.
is fascinating. Yes. Um, I know when I was 18 years old, you said you were raised in an atheist family. When I was 18 years old, I was pretty much disillusioned with religion,
Mhm.
and I was calling myself atheist.
Mhm.
And so at some point, I was confronted
Yes.
by, well, actually, I was in the Navy and I had to have a
Oh.
secret clearance to
Mhm.
do the work.
Yes.
So um, I was questioned, what do you mean by you're atheist? And I said, well, I don't believe in God. And so the person questioned me said, well, if I were to prove to you the existence of God, would you then believe in God? And I said, well, that's a no-brainer. Of course I'd believe in God if you proved it to me. So he told me, you're not an atheist. He says, you're an agnostic.
Mhm.
And he changed my form and put down agnostic.
Okay.
I said, okay, fine. I didn't know what agnostic meant, but it basically meant I was ignorant.
Yeah.
So it's been my pleasure to be seeking, deeper meaning and values and truth in the world through spiritual channels because of that
Yeah.
title he gave me. So
Mm.
you went to India seeking,
Yes.
and you were there for a whole year.
Mhm. We used to do a lot of spiritual practices every day. Wake up 3 o'clock in the morning, do some chanting very early, and then some meditation, an hour meditation in the morning, and then practicing hatha yoga, the poses, the asanas, and then do service for the ashram. We used to do all kind of services like cooking or welcoming people, and then I was asked to read about the stories of the saints in India, because in the ashram there were a lot of statues of these saints and gods. And they told me, you like to tell stories, so why don't you go and read about them, and then you can tell them to people who come to the ashram. They would love to know about them. So then I used to spend lots of hours at the library reading about these stories, and I just love them. I used to love how these saints were very human at the same time, and very, like, they used to be family holders or work at their places, but at the same time finding out that God is in every action, in every whatever you do with your heart, that is practicing yoga. Whatever you do with your whole being, that is yoga. So I just love that. And I learned a lot of things about that. Yeah.
So you came into awareness and enlightenment, maybe,
Yes.
of the true nature of the world, of the universe. Wow,
Yes.
that is very exciting. And so you were there 1 year.
Hmm. I was there. Yes.
What would you say was the hardest part, the
Mm.
hardest the biggest trial or difficulty in spending that first year in an ashram?
The hardest part was to, it was very easy for me to just meditate and do the practices and chant. I used to love playing music, and that was very easy. The hard part was to know what was going to happen when I would go back to life, to normal life, I wanted even to become a nun or something like that. I said I could live like this forever. But inside of me, there was a voice that said, this is not your path. You're not meant to be a nun. You're not meant to just live in an ashram. You have to share this with the world outside. And then it was hard to know, like, how will I do this? If I go back to Mexico, how will I do that? What are the tools for doing this? I don't know. And then there was a confidence inside that said, okay, if you just meditate, if you just do your practice, the path will open. And that's what happened.
That sounds to me like the experience of surrendering.
Yes, exactly. Surrendering.
Surrendering to the inner self.
Yes.
To the part of you that is connected, your authentic self.
Exactly. Yes.
And all of the fears come around from well, how will I do this? How will I do that? Those generate fear.
Yes. Yes.
That can keep you kind of bottled up and hesitant.
There's a definition in the Yoga Sutras that said Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha, which that's in Sanskrit, and that means that yoga is the ceasing, like the pause of the vrittis, which are the fluctuations of the mind. So my mind was fluctuating, like saying, what will I do? How will I do it? With whom? Blah, 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 blah. And then when you just let those feelings and thoughts just go down, just slow down, then the truth appears, and that is yoga. And that's what happened. My mind was like this, and then just doing meditation allowed me to, as you said, surrender and open the path.
When I practiced physical yoga. I don't know the kind of yoga. It was a long time ago. I was a young man living in Japan. And every week I would go into my class and do the postures. But I didn't get a lot of encouragement to do meditation. So I was doing the physical postures and things like that. And now and then I had an interesting experience. And it took me a while to learn more about the meditation. But I just love that, what you said about the meditation helps to calm down the chatter of that monkey mind.
Yeah. Many people think, that yoga is just doing the poses, but there is much more about it. Much more.
Well, now that I'm older, my body doesn't want to do the poses so much. I'm glad to know that I don't have to do the poses to still get the benefit by just doing the meditation.
Yes.
Have you done the Vipassana?
Yes, I have done it, and it's also hard, because also the mind, like it's not easy for the mind. But once you just connect that part of the mind to its nature, then everything flows. Everything flows, and then you can be in that pose and just be silent, be quiet, and then everything becomes a meditation. When you walk, you're meditating. When you're eating, it's a meditation. When you're whatever you're doing, watering the plants, everything can become a meditation. Even doing the dishes, if you're aware of what you're doing, if you're completely there, that can be a meditation. And I love that part of Vipassana.
Yeah. Okay. I've been told by some of my friends who have done Vipassana, and I actually applied to take the course. and got accepted. But unfortunately, the world said, no, you have to do something else first.
Yeah.
You know, it seems interesting that the world, the experiences that come to us in life prepare us for our next step. Even the hard experiences where we might have some trauma or we might have some challenge.
Yes.
So after 1 year in India, you went back to Mexico, and did you start teaching, or what did you do after that as a 17-year-old?
Yeah, well, I was already 19 years old.
Oh, 19 years old. Okay.
And yeah, I came back here, and I have to be honest, it was very hard for me to go back into the real world. The world seemed very even frightening, because everything was so taken care when I was at the ashram. Like when I went here, it was like, oh, and it was hard for me. It took me a while, some weeks, to just, okay, what will I do now? And then I began teaching. I used to teach English and French and yoga.
Wow, so you're a teacher too. Huh?
Yeah, and I did it just like that because I wanted to save money to go back to India. Because the first time my parents paid for that trip, but after that they said, okay, now it's your turn, you have to do it. So then I used to work a lot and give lots of classes all day long to save that money. And then one friend who used to work in an airplane company, she said, why don't you come with me to India? And I said, well, I don't have money. I'm saving money, but I don't have enough right now. She said, oh, don't worry. You just have to pay the taxes. And then I had the opportunity to be back in India after 3 months of being in Mexico, invited by her. And I went to a completely different part of India. I went to Kashmir, which is in the north. And then we were invited to a wedding, which was a Muslim wedding, very different from Hindus' weddings. And then we traveled through the Himalayas, met the Dalai Lama, and then I also fell in love with that part of India. And I stayed there for another year. Yes.
So each year then you've gone back.
Yes.
And each year is a kind of a preparation for the next step.
Definitely.
I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
Well, that's okay. I don't know how many steps that you have taken, how many more steps that you're going.
Yes.
Where do you see yourself going from now?
Well, from now, it's been a very beautiful part because that longing for sharing has become more strong and more, at the same time, more grounded, like now I'm organizing tours to India. And because for many years, people always knew, oh, Ramya goes to India every year. Why don't you take us? And I was like, oh, that's a very big responsibility. India is not an easy place for people, for Western people. It's very hard because it's very different from what we are used. It's very chaotic and lots of sounds and pollution and things like that. And then I used to think, well, for me, it was easy because I was very blessed, but I know that it's not going to be like that for many people. So then one friend of mine asked me, why don't you take me? Why don't we do tours? And I was like, well, yeah, why not? Maybe now I'm ready for that, And
you were ready for that.
Yes. And then I took a group of people and I organized a very special tour, which was not touristic. It was more mystic, more, like being in contact with different spiritual traditions in India and with the families in India and things like that. And then everybody just loved it. And then I organized another group and like that. And that's what's going on. Now I take 2 groups a year. And they love it because they get to know the depth of India, the essence, the essence of that country, of that culture, which is mixed by many cultures and many spiritual traditions. But then the main thing is that you get to know that inside of you. Like they discover everything is just a, pre, a pretexto. I don't know how to say that in English right now, but everything is just a reflection of what there is inside of you. So little by little, they discover they don't need to travel anywhere else. They just need to go inside, and they will discover all the wonders, and that's very beautiful. That's very, very beautiful.
Is it possible to get that kind of experience and that kind of awakening without going to India?
Yes, I think it's possible.
And you do that in Mexico?
I think it's possible, but when you go to a country like this, which is very, very alive, what I love from that is that the tradition, the way of living thousands of years ago, the way of practicing, the way of reading the scriptures, all of that has been like that, uninterrupted for thousands of years. So that creates a very, very powerful ambience, a very powerful, like you can breathe that if you are open. If you know how, you need to get like a little key, but after that, everything opens. So that's why I like to take people there. We can live that experience here, going in the nature or being in your room or wherever. But if you don't have a guidance, then it's very difficult. And if you can get, this little like tuning with that essence, then that accelerates your experience, and that's what I have noticed.
I really think I understand that. I got to go to Mexico last year. Actually, at the end of the year, I went to Teotihuacan and spent several days with Don Miguel Ruiz and his sons.
Wow!
And they are, of course, spiritual leaders and teachers. And we also climbed the pyramids there. And it was very, very helpful to have their guidance. Yes. If I went to Teotihuacan by myself without a guide, I maybe missed a lot.
Yes.
But because of the special guidance and the stories that we heard about this place or that place or the moon temple or the sun temple or whatever, it was all bringing it to life.
Yes.
And filling our experience deeper into the connection of the history of the people there and the wisdom that was there.
Yes.
And you're getting me excited about maybe I want to go on one of your tours.
Thank you. Yes.
How can I get in touch with you? Or if I were in Mexico City or if I was anywhere, if I was watching this video and I wanted to get in touch with you to go on your tour, how would I do that?
We have a Facebook page and Instagram, which is Taraka Tours, Taraka Tours. Taraka, yes. And there I do a lot of videos. There I have one partner, and she's a wonderful photographer. So we do videos when we are in India, and we also do some texts about different traditions in India. And when we are in Mexico, we also do workshops of yoga and meditation and things like that. And we play music. So sometimes we give concerts with Indian classical music, but also mixed with some of our culture music. So it's special with very special instruments from India. And that's the way you can contact us. We're giving one tour, Buddhist tour. This is a very special circuit of tour. We're going to visit the main places where the Buddha was, because Buddha was from India. So he did his main teachings in India, and also he was enlightened in India. So we're going to visit the tree where he was enlightened and the place where he gave his first spiritual teachings. And also we're going to have the very beautiful and blessed opportunity to meet the Dalai Lama
Wow, that
in
is a
Dharamsala. Yes,
fantastic opportunity.
yes,
So
yes.
if I wanted to do that, I would go on Facebook to Tara Tours.
Taraka with K-A at the end. Taraka Tours.
Taraka.
Yes,
C-A. T-A-R-A-C-A.
K-A.
K-A. I'll get it
Yes.
right. You know, I'm just a slow boy.
Don't worry, that's
Tara,
fine.
Taraka Tours.
You know,
And
Taraka is a beautiful word because it's the root is Tara, and Tara is the same root as in English star, or even in Spanish estrella. So Taraka means star, something that shines and is shining from inside, you know, from its own luminescence. and Taraka, we put the logo of a butterfly because that is also the name of a very special butterfly from South America. And we like this because it's the transformation, the path of transformation, you know. We are all like butterflies. We can
yeah,
open from inside and all become butterflies, shining
that
like
is
a star.
fascinating. That is very beautiful.
Yeah,
I have just really enjoyed this conversation, and
thank you.
I would like to continue. And I know I have some time restraints, so I want to thank you, Ramya, for coming on to Mindalia TV and sharing with us your part of your life story and giving some inspiration to us struggling atheists.
Yeah.
Because we all have to come out of that. We have to come out of that
Yes.
sometime in our transformation. And being a butterfly is such a beautiful way to show that symbolically.
Oh,
We,
thank
we are
you.
all we are all butterflies transforming and getting our wings out.
Yes. And I can see that right now in you. You're becoming a beautiful butterfly. You're shining. Thank you. Thank
Yes,
you so much.
and that there's that ancient story of the little boy who was sent to the forest to learn something by the master. So he went to the forest and he saw a cocoon,
Mhm.
and he said, "Oh, that's a cocoon." And he saw a butterfly struggling to get out of the cocoon. And so, from the compassion of the little boy's heart, he says, "Oh, let me help." So he opens up the cocoon for the butterfly, and then the butterfly comes out and then falls to the ground. And the little boy was heartbroken. He said, "What did I was only trying to help, you know." And
Yeah.
so he went back to the master and explained his sorrow. And the master explained, "Well, the butterfly has to strengthen his wings
Yes.
through the breaking out of that cocoon, and you can't help it. You have to let them suffer and struggle."
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing for, I think, people to realize sometimes when we see people struggling, maybe that's the struggle to strengthen their wings.
Definitely.
And then maybe we can accept our own struggles
Mhm. Mhm.
as a part of our growth and a part of our unfolding into the beautiful butterfly. Thank you so much. I
Thank
so
you.
appreciate this opportunity. I'm glad that we didn't have Angel here to interrupt.
Okay, thank you so much. You're a wonderful person. I'm very glad to have met you. And you're always welcome here in Mexico or in India or wherever I go.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, I've got 3 friends in Mexico City now,
Yeah.
and you all know each other.
Oh, yes?
Yeah. One's name's
Okay.
Laura. One's name's Marcella or Marcy.
Oh, yeah. Marcella is Laura came with us in the last tour,
Yeah.
and Marcella is coming in October to India with us.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
they're wonderful
October.
women. Yeah, October. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, again,
All
thank you
right.
very much. We have to turn this back over to Myrna.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, thank
Okay.
you. It has been a super nice conversation. As you can see, Stan, I am in a different setting. I'm not in the studio that we normally are. We are in a hotel room in LA because we attended the expo, the Conscious Life Expo.
Conscious Life Expo, yes.
Yes, so I want to thank you in advance for bearing with us and waiting for the time that it had to be wait in order for us to be ready to do this. Thank you again. And to our beautiful, wonderful audience, thank you again for seeing us, for following us, and for sharing this information with as much people as you can, so you can help us achieve our goal in our mission, which is share information that can help raise the level of consciousness around the world. We salute and we honor Angel that wasn't with us today, but he did interrupt the conversation. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, Stan, for being with us once again, co-hosting. Thank you, Ramya. And to our audience, thank you again. And we hope you have a great day. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.